Hi guys, it's Alston. In this video, we are going to take a look into Blockly. I'm going to explain you what it is, what are its all functionalities, full walkthrough of the system, and also help you to decide whether this is the right solution for you or not. There are a lot of confusion regarding this SaaS. That's why I get a lot of requests from different users. Even if you check our group, just one thread add over 200 plus discussion, comments, doubts and everything. And even I also purchased, but I am creating this video after 2 months because I was also a bit confused because there was so much features, functionality, so it's a bit overwhelming and learning process. And also I had two different discussion with the founder itself. For example, one of the discussion I had with him lasted over 3 hours, and another one was another 3 hours. So the main reason I took all the time for this, and I am also doing this video even though I'm not an affiliate, because this is a SaaS which I wanted to replace my workflow, because I was writing from my notepad, Google Drive, and keeping the files separately, research separately, all these things. So I was on the lookout for a centralized SaaS. That's why I considered this. There are two important things you need to understand. First, it is a SaaS which has a tremendous learning curve, and also it is a SaaS which is not direct straightforward. That's the biggest problem. For example, we come into their website, we can see that it helps to build content management marketing solution, and if we go inside product, there is writing application, research doc, SEO optimization, content calendar, all these things, which even though it provides all these features without a proper layout, it's really hard to understand. So without even realizing the power and the effectiveness of this SaaS, it will make us to skip. That's what I wanted to clarify in this video. I've been using this SaaS for 2 months, so I'm going to walk through all the approach and functionality which I think from important from my perspective. First, we need to understand the core product of Blockly. Blockly is not a content curation system, not a content SEO optimization system, not a keyword research tool, not a single platform to auto publish article. What they have done is they have tried to create a suite of tools with the essential mandatory features which helps you and create you like a content creation slash publication slash selling process and into one whole system. That is the key for the problem. Even though it offers all this, without if we are unable to complement all the features, we will get confused. That's the biggest problem. For example, I have created this quick diagram to help you to understand. For example, we have the Blockly as a old product. There are two different differences in Blockly as a final outcome. For example, with Blockly, we can do topic research for whatever the article we are going to be writing, whatever the content we are going to be writing. There is a old research module. So that is a common module. After that, from the research we have done, we can now create a content or article, creative writing or anything from the research we planned to create the content. And here is where it will divide into two different categories. One, you can take off and publish on your own website using the auto publish setting, content calendar to schedule your content automatically to be published on your WordPress site, and with on-page SEO optimization, because they do support auto integration with Rank Math and Yoast SEO plugin, so you can do auto publishing or all these things. And another way, after you write something, there's another way where you can try to sell this article which you have written using their marketplace. They give the option to collaborate with potential buyers, communicating with the buyers, create a portfolio with various different styles, so you can create one which suits you. And also there is all the agreements which they handle. We can sign it off to have a easy and effective selling process and plagiarism reports and everything. That is the main thing. Because of so many features, it gets confused. But the important thing you need to understand is you don't need to use all these features in order to be using Bloggly. Let's say for example, even if you don't want to use it for writing purposes, publishing purposes, or selling purposes, you can just use it for the research purpose. Similarly, what I am doing is I am not using publish or selling or portfolio. I'm not interested in it. What I am using Bloggly as a research and writing media, so I can create all these things. So that's what I mentioned by stop at any place. According to your workflow, you can stop at any place. And in this video, I'm going to showcase a walkthrough of how you can do a key research on article topic research, how you can write that article using Bloggly, and I've also quickly show you some publishing methods also, but I won't be covering too much because I'm not interested in that, because I create my website using Elementor with complex design capabilities and everything, or you might use a different page builder. In that case, what I do is, rather than auto publishing to my website, I just export the text and automatically do it manually in my website itself. So we can do that. In this video, I will not be covering this particular section where creating portfolio, trying to sell article, plagiarism reports and everything, because that is a totally separate workflow strategy. If I try to cover that also into this video, it will get too much confused. I took a lot of time introducing this particular thing because this will help you to understand what I'm going to showcase you through the walkthrough of the system. Okay, without further ado, now let's directly jump into the dashboard so I can explain you how it works. You can see this is my dashboard, and you can see I have been already using, as I told you, I published this is around September 17th. Now it's like November, and I've been using it for 2 months to test it out, and there was a learning curve and everything. Basically, this is the dashboard of all the articles which you are planning to create. This menu shows two different, it shows the main component, articles. The main difference is articles is something where you actually write according to your own way, which is going to be published or going to be transformed as the final version of the article which you are writing. Research is the research docs are the docs what helps you to research on the topic, get content from the websites, do a content curation process, find all the competitors what they are creating, copy them into the research doc, so the later you can analyze it and try to get the good points into the article. So research docs helps you to do a curation process. Calendar helps you to schedule your content. Portfolio helps you to create portfolio where you can sell, buy, or create collaborations with your audience and everything, like a marketplace. This is the marketplace option. I'm not going to go into that because in this video I'm going to focus on this particular route. If I go into this settings also, there is not much thing to look. First of all, these are basic configuration. Freelancer, if you are planning to go through the second route where showing you sell and buy option, you will need to focus it, but in this video we are not going to go. Integration, let's say for example you want to have the auto publish option also with WordPress. If you're using any Gutenberg or just a default WordPress editor without any additional design specific elements in your CR reports, you can do that with auto publish. You can set it up with your Rank Math or Yoast SEO plugin. It will automatically set the SEO details and it will publish. So if you have WordPress site and you want to connect with the system, all you need to do is click connect, and there is also a Chrome extension. I will explain you when I'm talking about content research, not content research, article research. These are basic simple thing, nothing to worry about. So now let me go back into the dashboard. This is what you are seeing dashboard. What you are seeing is all the different article projects which I have working on or already finished. We can see the differences. For example, this shows closed. We can switch the layout. Currently they provide two different layout. If you click here, you will get a bigger sense of the layout with the preview of what's inside it and the style. It shows the number of blocks. comments have been made, whether it's a blog post or not, what is the total number of words inside it, it will show, and it shows closed because I have already finished this article. If it's not a finished article, it will show something like that, so we can get an idea. All these things are shown here. So this particular thing we can do different thing, and also there is an option to, if you come here, we can import article. Basically what you can do, you can create an article from scratch from here. This way you are creating a sort of like a project. When you create a project, inside that project it will contain all the components for research, writing and everything, but all the different articles are categorized into each single project. So if you come here, you can give a name here, project, let's say, let me do something sensible. So freelance writing online, something like this. Freelance, I'm sure. Okay, do this, and we can create folders is something which you can organize it by site, different sites, if you are managing multiple sites, or if you are managing it by category. This is totally up to your workflow. If there is already a category which you have created, you can select it, or you just type it, for example, freelance based article, and you can see there is an add option. When you click, now this will be get added, and also it will automatically create that category also for you. Here they give all these different options. There is no differences inside the project, but it helps you to classify the content in a much better organized way. For example, they are asking whether and also it will color code it differently. It's asking whether it's a blog post, creative writing, technical writing, all these different stuffs are there. You choose whichever the one which suits you, and you can set up the assign. Ideally, whenever you create something, it comes as open, or if you are not going to do it now, in a later stage you might do it something like that. It will make sense to make it like idea, closed, to finished article, archived, cancelled, all things. These are things which is created once you, let's say for example, in this case I'm going to give it as open and click create. OK, the main reason it goes into the project, let me go back. The main reason it gives this option is it has all these filters options. For example, we can filter it by favorite, which we can do favorite by clicking on this star. So we know this is something which we favorite, so we can, let's say for example, if you want to filter it by favorite, you could do that, and it will show you only the articles which are filtered. And if I cancel the filter, and I can see only the articles which have this particular status, we can see that. Or if it's from particular category, we can see that. Keyword group, tags, all these filters options are available here. So that is why this tagging, selecting the category, all these things are important. And also you can rearrange the order. For example, you want to see all the open article and you want to see it in the reverse order, you can do that by article name, publish date, SEO, all these things are available. And also, let's say for example, if you just want to say search for it, it won't make sense if just having 16 articles. Let's say assume you have 50 articles or 100 articles, you want to search by that particular keyword. All you need to do is click here and do something, and if there's any article on that, it will come up with the result. So that is a filter option, all the possibilities of how you can create an article. Now let me find the article which I just created, and here you can see. Now I have come into the article. You can see all the different stuffs are available. First, this is outline. Let me go in a logical order. First, we are not going to write an article. We are going to do research for that article. So I'm going into the assets and I'm going into research. And now you can see it's showing you a new document under research. If I click new document, now what's going to happen is, now I'm going to do research for this article before I start writing. This is how I do my workflow. In this case, I'm going to enter the exact same keyword. let's say example writing online. Let's say for example, for each and every article you have two different keywords which you want to refer. Then you need to create multiple research documents from here for each and single website. You can't give multiple keywords here and assume that it's going to create multiple different keyword research data. So give one keyword here and select your target country and also select your target language. You can see all the options which are available here, and also you can see all the things are available. What this happens is, this will take the data from Google. When you set up the country and language, it will try to get the localized version of the ranking SERP data which is available there. Once you are okay with that, now just click on OK. Now what it will do is, it will try to do a content curation process for the top 100 results which is ranking on Google. Let me show you. For example, you can see it is already started to scrape all the different SERP data, and also seeing, we can see the pages now, and it's showing you it's loading. How Blockly is designed to work is, it will scrape all the 100, but it will take data from page by page. Let me explain it to you. First, you can see now analyze is done and this particular loading screen disappeared, and you can see it shows this as a SERP analysis, where it's showing you how the data, or what are the data which it was able to grab from the search engine. So we can see SERP 100 show the SERP snippets, keywords, comment summary. I will go in order, and this side you are seeing something called research document. There are two ways. This research document helps you to create idea. You can this research document will contain duplicate text, straight up mentions from other URL. The unique process is, this research doc is not going to be published. This research doc going to be an article source which we are going to use to create our main article. So for example, it shows the top 100 results, and if you open up any of this tab, you can see what it does. It goes inside to that article, and it try to extract all the content inside that web page and try to differentiate under different modules, which is differentiated by H2 headings. So for example, if you take a look at it, shows what is the section under the preamble, and if I go here, what is the second section is available, the old text, everything it shows here. For example, you do this, it shows all the things. And the cool thing is, if you click on this, what it will do is, now if I click on this old setup and do this, it will automatically transfer the entire section into that, and it will color code it, say that I have taken this idea into the article. Or if I want to do this, and let's say for example, I don't want the entire stuff, only this sentence makes job for the article which I'm going to write, do this, and it will automatically done that. And also it try to leave the link for the whatever the snippets we are getting. So you can use this to mention it, or you can get in a, if you want, after some time when you come on, I'm not sure why I took this article, how it's relevant or something like that. One, you can come here, but there's an easy way. Now all you need to do is click on here, and it will automatically take you to that particular URL. If you don't like to see URLs, I only want to see the text which I'm grabbing, you disable this. Let me disable it. I think let me see whether it's disabled or not. It's still not disabled. Let me remove all this so it makes sense for it. And I've taken this, and let me open it and click here, still not disabled. What happens is, it okay, you can see once you clicked on it correctly, now it won't show you the URL. So there is a preference for you as well. Like that, it will scrape whatever the page content for each website, and with the structure of the page, how it does the created, it will show you all the data. What you can do is, either you can, let's say for example, start cold pitching. So I say this makes a lot of sense for me to have a section inside my article which I'm going to write. There are two ways. Now I can do here, and I can select this as one of my primary module which I'm going to write about inside the articles. Click on here and it automatically converted into a module. What modules is, when it comes to creating article, rather than creating everything in one whole document, module with module, we can focus on each section at a time. So let's say, for example, I found on another website, or let me do that. In another website also, I found something is talking about cold pitching. Then I can take that data also insert into that particular model. So when I then go into the research doc in detail by clicking on here, now you can see it automatically divide the content based on the modules. Let me see, let me create another one so you can get an idea. And also you don't need to insert and create a module. You can just create something like title 2 module, then you highlight it and select this, and you can see now it has created into a module. When I do this, and you can see, and I can go into the module and SERP analysis anytime, and it will automatically converted into module. The modules will be helpful when you are going to write your article besides the research content. Hopefully I'm not confusing you guys a lot, but basically this helps you to think like this. You find anything which is interesting to you, you get it from SERP analysis, and you are putting everything in the research document. This is from the SERP analysis. So like that, you can keep on doing it for all the website which is found on here. Let's say, for example, if it not recognized, you can go here, and this is where the browser extension comes into play. Whether when you are doing your job, or when you are just go browsing the internet, you find something internet, what happens is it's currently available for Chrome. So you click on the browser extension, you select all the text which you want and select which is the research document you want to add it, and it will automatically add it into the section. I'm not using it because of I use Edge, so because of that I didn't use it. But basically that is the concept. In this first section, you pretty much take whatever the things you need and put it here. So that what the first section under the first section does. And the second thing is, whenever it's tried to extract data, the H2 format and the content within that web page, let me turn off the AC. It also try to grab two different content. One is questions, where it's try to identify any content within those web pages, which is basically like a question type keyword with the answer, because these are really good as a content sections under your article, or these are the questions which need to be answered in order to clear the doubt for the user. Or also the questions are really good to rank on snippets such as featured snippet, and also the people's also are section inside Google search engine. So it identify all these questions, but these are the questions which was able to identify within the first 10 websites in the Google. Not only it identify these questions, but if you click on here, and it will automatically bring up the answer which is coming from this question. So it's really easy to get an idea. And also you can see I wrote not a niche keyword, but a more focused keyword, and it's bringing up relevant question. For example, if I'm going to write article on freelance or writing online, these questions are very relevant for me. For example, are freelance writing jobs legit? What are these freelance jobs pay? Can anyone do freelance writing? All these things make sense, and these are the questions which are my potential audience are asking about it. So it gives you a full SEO questions research also. And statistic is where it tried to this model is not perfect. What it does, it try to find out any numbers, percentage within the web page which is trying to rank, and try to identify those as statistics. Some of them can be valid, some of them does not make sense. For example, I want to insert some kind of statistics inside my article which I'm writing about. In this case, I can try to look if there are anything. For example, this is useless. Let's see. This is useless. Let's see if there's anything important. Basically, it's trying to find the numbers or percentage or something like this. Okay, I was able to make my first 1,000 within a month. Starting after doing this, I'm still able to, and you can see some kind of, it does not clearly make sense, but actually it's tried to grab some. For example, if you write try to put any keywords with an informational related content, focus or historic or study based, then you would find more relevant statistics here. So what that is, what it will do on the results question statistic. Keep in mind all this data which is it's bringing you are for the first 10 results. If you want, you can keep on going it up to 100. For example, now I'm going into the second page and I going and clicking on analyze, and it's done. And if I do this, let me see, where it should work. When we click on analyze, what happens is it will go again and reanalyze all the process. Let me see, refresh, and let me see whether it works. The thing is, and also the thing is, it's not 100% fluent still. There are still some areas which seems to be a bit bulky and everything. And now you can see, now when I come into the second page and click on analyze, it's showing loading. Now in this loading process, it goes through and grab all the data. If I open it, you can see all the different data it's able to bring it, and questions. Now it's taken different questions from the second set of pages, and also statistics also will be different. And that way you take out all the necessary data for your writing purposes. You can take it as block, you can take it as let's say for example as individual sentence. You can go inside that and select whatever the things you want, and let's say for example, and you can drag it down. All these different options are available. So that is what the SERP brings into the research document. Research document, we divide sections by let me put into some different sections also, so I can show you guys an example way. Let me say this is one section. Let me make it as section. As soon as I select and make it as section, it turns into H2. Let me put this also as a section 2. You just try to curate the article which you are going to write. No worries on copy, because we are not going to publish this as directly, because these are just to get all the ideas which we want to write in one place, then we go and write about it. And also there are option to bold, select heading titles, size, font size, bullet list, all these color picker, all this. You can insert image, all these things. For example, even let's say if there are any images within this content. For example, this, let's say example, this image is important, you want to include it in your article, you can bring it here, and when it's on this icon, it means the image is served. When you click on serve and you refresh and commit again, that image will be automatically embedded. So you can also bring images also into research doc. For example, you can see from here, you can see all the option to center it, delete or edit it. We can give alternative names. This is good because one of the feature, they also offer AWS hosting, where we can host directly there and bring images from there. So if you use, I don't use, if you want to use something like that, you can give the alternative name, you can define it, you can give hyperlink. All this stuff are possible. So that is what research step of SERP 100 does. The next is keyword. This is not 100% perfect. Let me see whether it works. I don't use this tool to do my keyword research, and also I don't think it will be able to do a full competitive job. We have separated dedicated tools. My favorite Get Keywords, but there are a number of tools in the market. We have to do that. And you can see what here does is you can give keywords, and it will try to bring some sort of keywords. Let's see whether it brings up anything for this. Freelance writing service, and I want a minimum of 100 searches a month. And we can also give multiple keywords. For example, freelance writing jobs, and let me put OK, and I hopefully think it will bring keywords. I don't use this for keywords. Oh, it brings a bot keywords. Basically it brings as a keyword all the keywords it was able to found out with competition. This is not SEO competition. This is AdWords value and CPC, cost per click, and volume data. And also there is no sorting option, nothing like that, and no way of to calculate SERP difficulty. This not to be meant to be used as a alternative for any SEO keyword research software. Instead it should be used something like let's say for example it should be something like, and to give you a quick idea on how the market look like. Let's say for example you are not much worried about it, but just you don't want to pay an extra subscription to get some keywords idea. You want to find something, even though it's not perfect data, you want something, then you can use something like this. And whatever the data you want, you can bring this data also in the research document. For example, let me click here, and it should bring those here. For some weird reason it's not bringing you here. I think there's a bug. Not sure, but basically when you click here it will transfer that particular data also here, and you can maintain that also and try to get the results from here. So that is what keywords does. For some reason it's not working, or as I told you, I don't use this feature. I already in my workflow, before even I start writing, I will figure out all the keywords, then only I will try to come here and do the content writing process. Comment is where you have the option to have team members, virtual assistant according to the plan. And here in the research we can create comments. Let's say for example need to create a chart or something like that, and chart needs to be for 2020, and click on OK, and you can see this says not now there is a comment which need to be resolved. So we know what are the things to be making addition. This is meant to be as a collaboration where you can contact with the team members or other individual to see what are the things need to be addressed. And also there is option to filter the comments from here, and also you can click edit and do this. If you have a lot of comments, you can search your comments. It will search for the body. For example, let me put here, and it will bring I didn't think it will let's see, I think it's not searching for the body title. So you do search and come here, you can come here, and for example once you resolve this issue, you can come here and mark it as resolved, and it will be done. You can give a link if there's a more information needed for this, and you can see whether do you want to show only the resolved or all the comments, all these things. Pretty much I don't use this process also because I create my contents myself, so I don't use this much often. The summary, this is something bit different. I also don't use this as I wanted to be honest as possible. What summary does, AI driven summary does is it takes all the content which we brought up to the research document and try to bring like a paraphrasing for each sentence inside this document. If you click here, let's see whether it loads for me. If you click here, it should open up a pop-up. I think I have the credits. Okay, I think I need to buy the credits because it's currently not available. This is not freely available within the system because they are using, I'm not sure which API they are using, but they are using an external service. And with that, what happens is, let's say for example, this sentence, this summary, AI driven summary, it will try to suggest and give you an brief variation on what it can do, and it can give you a summary of the entire research document, all this stuff. I don't use it. If you are interested in, I think you can check out their YouTube channel where they might have shown this demonstration, or check out for your own self. Let me go back. There is also an option to save. And one more thing I forgot. Let me go inside the research document, and I forgot it. That's the problem with this too. There are so many options. I keep on forgetting. If you click on here, let me wait for it. It will automatically create something like this where you can automatically share it with anyone else. For example, it put all the different blocks or section which I created into different step, and it put up all these things, and it shows in a nice organized format of our research document. So if there is a writer, sorry, if there is a writer, I want to give this research document or something like that, I can share a link from here. You can give see, if I click here, it's showing you do you want to be public, or do you also want to collect feedback from anyone if you are showing this, and do you want to keep the comments private, anonymously, logo, when you click on the logo, something like all these things. And also if you want to set it as password protection for this preview, you do that. And if you go here, this is the URL which you don't need any account to log in. All you need to do is come here. Before viewing the content, we need to give the anyone who's viewing the content, we also can collect anonymously, but if you prefer to contact them back, you are collecting the emails here. And once you clicked on OK, now you can see this is a total preview outside the dashboard. Anyone can, let's say for example, you done all the research, you give the keyword data also here, and now the writer can do this writing based on the research. That's why I showed you can stop at any place. It's all according to your workflow. If you want to only use Bloggly for research purposes, you can stop it here and create this document and give it to your article writer. Or if you don't want to share the URL, but instead you can want it in a text format, you can do that. If you want it in a PDF document format, that's also you can do it from here. So that is how the research doc section of it works. And you can see all the things, and this also gives the option, and also I can delete it. So that is the research document. Now let me show you what are the other kind of research which you can do from this for preparation for writing articles. I think it's going a lot because there is a lot of things to cover. I'll try to make it fast, at the same time easy as possible for you to understand. This asset contains all the different research, notes, libraries, backup. Now let me go into the notes. Notes is a section where you can create any notes from your Chrome extension. I told you where you can capture something and paste it in the article. It will automatically come inside a note, or you can create whatever the name. It can be keyword data. I create a note for keyword data, and also I create a note for something like competitor analysis researchers. I will put all the competitor URLs as a note, something like that. You can create how many notes you want. And also before I go into this, let me say new block. We can as I told you, we create articles not as whole article but as each different section. So let me say this is introduction. I want an introduction on my article. After that I need to talk about what after that I need to talk about, let me go back. No, yeah, sorry, I need to go back and do talk about, let's say for example, fake or something like that. And whenever we create this assets and notes, we can specify this note is only need to be available for the introduction block. So we can do this summary or something and create a note and do this here. Then what happens is this note will be only be appearing when we are working on introduction. For example, I'm in introduction block. Now let me open up the this particular tab where it shows all the different assets, including our research doc, where we can open it up. Now we can see all the data here. For example, if I click here, all the research which we did, we are seeing it parallelly. This way we can easily create write any content from here. Here also we can drag, but I don't suggest using the exact word for duplicate content, but you can rewrite it, something like that. But if I go into the notes, you can see it shows you the note which I created and I assigned to introduction. Let's say for example I go into a different block, that note disappear because I made sure to create that note as not a global note but only for that particular section. That is what here, if you don't want, you want to keep it as global, you can just do that also. Notes is a section where you create your own notes, you bring in content from Chrome extension, you do whatever the notes, and you can do that. Library is the section where you bring any files, images, PDF, resources regarding this article inside this project. I used to use this option to save my final article. I used to bring up images and keep as a backup here to use it on my article. If I click on add file, can see it support pretty much any files relating to this, and also they have some more additional features for images where they have tried to bring a image optimization service also inside this SaaS application. All you need to do, bring here and you can convert the image. Do you want a PNG version or JPEG version, and select the quality of the file and say resizing, and according to this your image will be resized. And if you are uploading a 10 MB file, when you put it into 50, it will try to optimize 50% of that image. So they also provide that option. But not only you are restricted to bring documents, image, what I do is I also bring my Excel sheet which contains all the keyword data also into here, so for better safekeeping. And URL is there. For example, you bring any URL from here and you can bring it from here. GIF, they are recently added a support for Giphy. So if you want to bring any GIFs also into this particular library, you can search it. And for example, if I took Big Birth fan, so if I do here, and it will automatically bring that files inside this article. They have also tried to integrate with the Pixar image. Let's see whether it finds any for freelancer. It's really easy to bring from Pixabay. Let me do a search. Let's see whether it brings up anything. Did I type and not background, people, I think, and photo, do the search. I think it's not working. Maybe I think it's because of my ad blocker, could be the reason. Let's see without that whether we can bring images from Pixabay. I should have disabled it before. I'm not sure whether that is the reason we didn't get keyword data also. Go here, let me do here, go here, and let me try to search. Let me put something generic, so let's see whether that actually brings up any data. Okay, for some reason it's not working for me, but ideally it should have brought results. And once you clicked on it, some on any of this, and you can just bring it into that particular file and optimize it, also possible from here. And similarly, Pixabay video is also possible, and you can see your edit option is available where you can tag. So this image library is not only able to found by from within this article, you can try to search any projects within your this setup, and when you search here, it will try to bring up any files which it matches the process. So all these processes are available under the library to have a physical record. So I think I covered all the research aspect of it. I think we now covered this area fully. The next step is to talk about the article process. The blocks, as I mentioned, these are the different sections within the article process. Let me also do one more for the sake of it. Let's say this will be the shortest article in the history of the internet. Do that, and you can see now I have come into the article writing mode. Here what happens is, if I do this, it gives you a writing format where it's showing you all the assets which I gathered for this particular article with two different other stuff also. And also you can see when I click on article related, it only will show the research docs, notes, library data, everything which I've only done for this particular article. If I click on all, it will show all the research docs which is currently available inside this entire system for my personal usage. For example, I'm writing freelance writing. Let's say for some weird sense, Ubersuggest review also makes sense as a research document. I might need to get some data from there. Then I put the assigned value here. Then you can see it automatically assigned to this article. Now if I go into article related, it will show both of these documents which I have created, and you can unassign it anytime you want. You can see now that disappeared because it's no longer relevant to this article. You can create a new document from here. You can also search if you have 50 or 100 research doc, you can search it all from here. Click on all. Notes is also similar. It will show you first. Notes have a different one more category where first step is block related, the second step is article related, the third is everything in your account. So block, it will show you all the notes which you have created for this particular section. When you click on article, it will show you all the notes which you have created for that particular entire article. When you click on all, it will show all the articles, notes which we have been gathering from all the different sources and everything from here. So all these different here, so all the notes will be showing you. Library, same cases. Do you want article related? Do you want all the images which is available on the dashboard? You can see I have the Ubersuggest keyword Excel file as I mentioned you, so it will show you there. And versions is something like what we can let's say for example I'm working on something. Let's see, let me bring up for example, let me say that take this and insert here. These are something which I have written. Let's say for example, let me say something like this and do that, and let me put image also here. Let me do that, and I need to put it here, I think. Let me delete that and put it here and do that. Let's say for example I have written it. Now I want to do some major changes, but I want to save it this also. For example, in that case, come here and click on save, and now you can see it has saved a version. Now I do any crazy edits. Let me remove this and I do this, and I suddenly realize, okay, this is not something I wanted. I want to bring the saved version. I can see the entire saved, whatever the done has been here. If I go here also, I can bring it, or if I wish to fully transfer it, I can do that also, and it will showing the warning that it will completely replace whatever inside here. I click on OK. Now I've got it. Simple as that. So do that option is available. I can delete the version if I want. You can see it goes away, and it go away. Let me see it again. I think it's gone. Let me refresh and see. These are the things which makes me sometimes mad, because sometimes okay, you can see it gone. We need to do a refresh. That's what I found out in Blockly. Sometimes if something is not working, just click on save and try to hit a refresh. It might work most of the time. And Paraphrasor is a tool where it's like what we say, something like, for example, how potential client can write for their audience. Let's say, for example, you are struggling with coming up versions, you are not sure how to write this. I would prefer if there are some ideas for whatever the reason I'm writing this, then you can use something called AI driven paraphrasing tool. I won't be able to run it because I don't have the, I think I have the current, let me write and see. It will go through this. I wasted one credit to give you guys this demo. Hopefully it worth something. It will go out and try to recreate the sentences within the article and try to bring up different version. For example, if I go here, and you can see this is the original which is the available one, and it tried to rewrite in a different way where you can use this as an idea. It will not be perfect in most cases, but it will give you something like a idea generation process. For example, it's a social mental platform where users, and for example, for each sentence it will bring all the different version, so you can choose whatever the version and you can try to transform here or get the idea from here and try to write it from here. All these options are possible from here. So that is how you use the article. And also you don't necessarily need to write in this particular layout. Let's say, for example, you don't prefer, you brought the enough reason, you anytime you want you can go into a full mode. And also a preview option is also available. If you click on not preview, this is different. If I go back and let me open up this, not here, let me see, this is the article. This now shows the article which I have created. There are some cool things which you can do, whether I'm not going to do that for viewing that particular section. This is what I want. You can turn off the preview anytime you want, then this section will be hidden. And if I want to disable this, I can do that. You might think it's not that useful. How I use this features, actually I create something like keywords or on page SEO stuff, all this stuff I do that, and I create, and in this things what happens is I will create as a block at the top, and I will make sure to disable the preview, and inside that I will give all the data. For example, I found this keyword to be one, search here, all this data, I do all these things, and let me save that. And if I go here, now I can see, and it's showing it's not preview. And let me go here. When you publish auto publish this article or anything, this section will not get published because these are preview. And when I write my article, for example here, whenever I write my article, I go through this here to find what are the important points. And also, as I told you, I keep keywords as a note also. For example, I will create something like that and will keep the keywords here and try to focus that whenever I write the keywords here, all these things, I will select the note as global, so it's available on all the pages. So that's how you create. And let me show you, let's see whether these are for other job to work on this particular section, which we are not interested as of now. Feedback, social share, all these things. And if you click on publish, it goes you to the next step. Before I go do the publish, let me show you this SEO option. As you can see, it's not showing anything, but if you click here, SEO optimize, now you can set up what is the meta description you are going to be writing on this meta description. If it's if you already have a website, WordPress website connected with your account, you can select the account and show give you a post, give a post slug for the website URL. You can select the featured image from here, so you can optimize. When you have a rank math or Yoast SEO plugin inside your WordPress website, it will automatically fill up these value with the featured image in your WordPress, all these things automatically inside the website. So you don't need to publish it and go inside and add these details for SEO. It will automatically do that. And focus keyword, this is something where they have tried to integrate an on-page SEO module into the tool also. For example, what happens is you come here and select a group, whatever the group, it can be for your own benefit according to this. Here you enter the keyword. For example, in this case, I'm going to say introduction is my keyword. That's a weird example, and you can see the primary keyword has been set to be introduction. Now I can create more. Let's say for example AppSumo, I created an article recently for this, that's why. And secondary keyword, what happens is when you click on scan, you can see now it's scan. What does it at the background, it will take this keyword and with the list of a couple of SEO guidelines, it will check the final article, not the research doc, but the article content, to make sure that the content is optimized for that particular keyword. So if I go into the SEO review, it shows my score. I'm ranking 0 because I haven't done any optimization for that keyword. It's showing you whether the focus keyword is in title, focus keyword in body, focus keyword in H2, focus keyword in URL. Let me put something. Let me put I think introduction. Let's see, I'll keep this as a stupid example and go here, go back. Let me go inside here and let me put an here introduction. Hopefully I'm writing it correctly. Let me put it once more, and let me also create a H2 introduction and do a H3 and introduction H2 also possible. Can not H2 is already there. I think it didn't because of the capitalization, but it should have done. Let me click on save and go back and go into the SEO, go here and let me rescan it. SEO optimize, go here, scan, and let's see, hopefully it works. And depending on the content or the words available in this, it will take time, but it should not take this much time. It should bring up this results here. I don't usually use this feature because when I create my content, I usually know what are the things for SEO optimization which I should focus, so I don't do this much often. Still it's scanning. Let me refresh it. Go here. Let's see whether the focus keyword introduction, hopefully I spelled it correctly, and I think stuck, but basically it should have come. I think I pronouncing it wrongly or something like that. Let me put try different example so I can just show you an example. That's what I'm trying to do. Let me put SEO in this case and let's see whether that works, and make that as a primary keyword and go here, focus keyword, not introduction, not AppSumo alternative, keyword and go and put SEO as a keyword. I'll select this as a category and do here, and let me update it and done. I think I need to refresh it also. It shows the introduction as the primary keyword. Let's see, now it shows SEO. Let's see whether now it detect. Okay, for some reason it didn't detect it, but it should have done it. I will check with it and try to get the ideal thing you need to do is I need to get around 100 to make sure that it's fully on page optimized. So that is what SEO and publish does. Publish also, you can publish it directly from WordPress. You give the site data. Here do you want to publish as publish you want to publish this article as a published state or draft state in your WordPress. You select the category within the website. You want to publish it now or schedule it for a later day. All these things can be done. And then finally the review and submit process, which I'm not going to do because I don't use it for auto publish purpose. Collaboration, as you already know, this is for comment purpose to collaborate within this for this all document instead of for only research doc or article. Plagiarism is another paid feature. If you click here, you can give a scan for the entire article and it will show you all the plagiarism report based on that, and you can change whatever the thing you want. Summary, if you want to get a quick summary for the entire article you have written from a AI driven summary, it's actually good. The founder actually showed me an example for this. I can't do this because I don't have the credit, but it creates a like a 1 paragraph summary to 2 paragraph summary to give a quick summary for that particular article. So that's what all the article side of it. And finally, I think I also explain the publishing, and also when you have connected with the website and everything, then you can control the content calendar. For example, from here it will show you all the published articles, all the pending articles. You can see if I go into unpublished, these are the articles which I'm planning to write, but it's not unpublished. We can change the schedule, we can make it sure, we can see all the data, all these things. You are not seeing any details because I only use Blockly for research and writing purposes. I don't use this for these two purposes. So I hope I was able to clear some of the doubt. Hopefully I haven't missed anything. I try to be covering all these things as possible. If you have any doubt, feel free to join our Facebook group and ask your questions. We also have the founder in the group, so he will be able to answer. And I'm also personally using this tool for myself. For example, let me open up this Uber Suggest review article which I did. You can see how I have created this entire article out of Blockly. You can see the post style, idea generation, what are the test keywords which I used for the article, and you can see what are the important keywords did I cover on that article. I marked down it, important keyword, all these things. If I go into the assets and go into the research purposes, you can see my Uber Suggest research document process, all the things which I collected from here, and you won't see other stuff because I haven't used it for other, but I think library might be there. Let's see. Okay, you can see the Excel. I have tried to organize notes, everything, and all these things will be showing here. And that's how you manage and create article, at least how I am using Blockly for that. I wanted to create a useful, it has been going 1 hour and I know it's bit long, but so many doubts for this platform, and after seeing this it might not even suit you. In that case, I'm glad that I didn't make you waste your time, resources. Instead, I was able to give you a clear understanding. But if you think this will help your writing process, you can check it out directly from their website or whatever the services deals they are offering. I'm not affiliated in any way. I just wanted to create this video because this is something personally I use, and feel free to reach out for me for more doubts, question or anything like that, and I will be able to help you guys. Once again, thank you so much, and if you want to see more videos like this, please do subscribe to us, and I hope you have a great day. Cheers.